Word, son. What do you do, YouTube? It's your boy, Jadavon. Alright, man, before we get into this video, make sure to like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, man, so the Dynasty Mode Deep Dive is here today, ladies and gentlemen. They have released it maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago, probably from the time that you're reading, or not reading, but watching this. There's also a blog down there in the description box down below if you want to read up on it in its entire detail. But there's only a 6-minute video that they put out. They only cover maybe the few hot topics that they can talk about. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about a few topics here, maybe a few things here. But first things first, man, I want to gush over the Dynasty Mode aspect of college football, because one, Dynasty Mode, like I said in the video that I put out before this one yesterday, Dynasty Mode is one of those modes where I can just get lost. You know what I'm saying? I can get lost in the world of having a team, building a team, or recruiting players and feeling like I'm in this virtual world where you got high school recruits and we're trying to get the next Peyton Manning or the next Michael Vick or the next Jalen Hurts or the next Adrian Peterson or the next Christian McCaffrey or the next Randy Moss or so on and so forth. So just being able to get lost in that mode and really invest that time into building a team or continuing to build and create a powerhouse, you know what I mean? So one of the things in regards to recruiting was there's 14 different things that each recruit has that needs to be either fulfilled, or there's a few things that that they're looking for in a school. And if your school doesn't have that, most likely he's probably not going to look your way. Or if your school does have that, he's probably going to give you guys a shot. But there's also these things called deal breakers. Now, as you've seen in the trailer, I think it was playing time, but one of the deal breakers is if he's not going to get enough playing time, then you might as well forget about it. He'll lock you out. Or, there's certain, maybe he wants to have an NIL branded deal. If you can't give him that, he's going to lock you out. There's certain things that are deal breakers for certain players. And I would like to think that there's no coming back from that. I'm not sure if you can, you know what I mean? But either way, it adds that level of like complexity, but not too complex to where it's like you don't want to waste your time. You know what I mean? You feel like your time is well spent when you're recruiting. You know what I'm saying? So of course, you want to recruit, close in, and then like finalize it all. You know what I'm saying? So you can pair him up with say for example, I think he said something along the lines with a quarterback. You can pair him up with a wide receiver or vice versa on a visit. You know what I'm saying? Have them, chop it up, talk, and say, hey man, like we can. I'm pretty much just, I'm paraphrasing, but you can have them pair up on a visit. You know what I'm saying? With the intentions of them possibly playing together. You know what I mean? That could possibly drive up the interest of them wanting to come to that school. Also, at the same exact time, you have the ability to send the house. Now, I'm pretty sure they had this one time before, but you also can you can be the head coach or the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator. Now, if you're the head coach, now I believe that they also did something along the lines of they did something like Madden does with the RPG-esque type like coaching skill tree or whatever. So there's different little quirks that you can add to your head coach, or you can focus on certain things. Like you can either build on a scheme, or you can focus on certain players like your quarterbacks, wide receivers, halfbacks, or tight ends, or the linemen, D linemen, safeties, corners, whatever it is, right? Or like I said, you can build a scheme. Now, we're gonna go back to the recruiting side for a second, but or the player side of things, but they also have it to where you can also hire, fire offensive and defensive coordinators. But the cool part about this is each coordinator has their own quirks to them. So say for example, like you're the head coach, right? And your thing is a very offensive heavy type thing, right? If you hire an offensive coordinator, and let's say your quirk is more or less running, you know what I'm saying? Anything that's like really like physical as far as like running and interior work and stuff like that, you can hire an offensive coordinator that can complement that. Now the wild part about that is each coordinator has a quirk that can be changed, or they have their abilities or their certain perks, if you will, that can't be changed. Every coordinator has their own unique set of style, so you have to hire accordingly to be able to fit your play style, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm not losing people. But same thing with a defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? If it fits your scheme, or if it fits exactly what you're trying to build up, you have to hire the coordinators that go accordingly to what you're trying to do. And like I said, you can't exchange the perks that they have. All of them come with unique perks. Now, I think that that's cool, because now it actually adds more incentive to you actually, thinking and picking and choosing wisely, and that can be either beneficial or detrimental to your team. And I really like that aspect of it. Again, Dynasty mode was probably one of those modes where I spent a lot of time in, because it felt great to watch your team transform into a powerhouse that they're bumping elbows with, or continuing that journey of making a powerhouse. You know what I mean? So let's see what else is there. Now, the transfer portal. Now, I want to touch on a few topics here. Now, like I said, I'm kind of just going on a few things that really stood out to me. Now, the transfer portal, it kind of reminds me a lot of like free agency almost. You know what I mean? Now, stay with me here, because I know people are going to say, "Oh no, that's not it," but stay with me here. It reminds me a lot of free agency, because it's like you have to look at. You have to look at what the player wants, what they need. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got the team needs and everything. So you have to, of course, you have to pick these players up accordingly to what the team needs. So in regards to that, the transfer portal, it reminds me a lot like free agency, because you have to have certain things in order for a player to even look at your way. You know what I mean? Now, at the same token, you might have to have a player or a few players to have them go test the player transfer portal, because I read somewhere in a blog that, if you have to make cuts, you know what I'm saying? Certain players, you're going to have to let them go and put them in the transfer portal, because you have to be under a certain amount of players on the team. You have to do that, you know what I mean? So you got that. And then also at the same time, one thing that I realized, I feel like this might just be me, but the recruiting and the player transfer portal, they gave it two different worlds. They're unique in their own ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the ability to bring in on the recruiting side, coerce them into coming to our school, come on to our school, man. We got so, got a great academic program. We got great this and great that. It's a lot of things that I feel like they've built on from previous NCAA football games, and they just pretty much just elevated it from there. You know what I mean? Then on top of that, you add in the transfer portal, or the newly added transfer portal that they're having in college football now. And when you look at them, when you look at those two side by side, you see that they're so unique. You know what I mean? And the fact that we're getting this is just it's really important to understand that this is what we all wanted. This is what I wanted for sure. You know what I mean? Now, for the seasons, they also said that it's going to be a 30-season Dynasty mode. Now, my only concern with that is how stable it's going to be. You know what I mean? Now, you can also go online. I think it's a 32-man online Dynasty as well. Now, again, my only main concern is it has to be stable. You know what I mean? I don't want it to have one of those things where we get to maybe like the 10th season and then bam, all of a sudden there's a brick wall. You know what I mean? Or we plan online and somehow it gets lost in the service. That's what I don't want to happen. God forbid. Knock on wood. You know what I mean? But I just want it to be stable. You know what I mean? But 30 seasons, I think that's good enough. I really think that that's good enough. A lot of the things I was noticing how, especially with the recruiting side of things, I was looking at Maximum Football, and college football, they're very, very similar. Very similar. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the paying attention to the key details, or paying attention to the little things that matter when it comes to recruiting, I think that says a lot about this team that's working on college football. And again, I'm just really, really excited. If you haven't seen the title of the video already, I'm sold. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, I'm ready for July 19th, or I think it's early access. I think so. It's the 16th, I think. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready. I don't know about y'all, man. There's a bunch of other things that we haven't touched in this video. But again, there's a blog down there if you want to read up on it in its entire detail. But y'all, I'm ready. I'm sold. I really want this to be a great launch. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, it's here. It's on its way. They're really outdoing themselves. And also, before I get out of here, there's another thing I want to talk about too. The level of transparency that I'm seeing from this team I've got to give it to them. You have to give them their credit, because the same way that I look at like Access Football or Maximum Football or any other indie dev that ain't a AAA, I always give them their due diligence and their credit because they're listening to us. They're looking for us to give them feedback to make their games better. The fact that with all this time that's been passed, and they've seen all the stuff we said about Dynasty mode and Road to Glory and gameplay wise and stuff like that. Gameplay, we can work with that, but so far it's a good start with gameplay. But with all the stuff that we've been saying that we wanted with the next college football game, and they're implementing that or doing their best to implement it, and the fact that they're right here, they're putting their best foot forward, you gotta give them credit. You gotta give them credit. Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost here. We got about another, if it's 3 days early, was it the 16th? Say the 2nd, do the math, probably another 2 weeks or so, and we're gonna have college football in our hands, man. I'm hyped. I don't know about y'all, but let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm gonna go and get up out of here. Make sure to like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. But we're gonna get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jada Vine, and I'm signing out. Peace.